What's up, YouTube? All right, so let's preface this by the fact that this review and this video is not clickbait. So you probably saw the title, you thought this thing was going to be clickbait. It's not. We have some serious stuff to talk about here. We're going to be telling you about the Tilta, it's the Tilta Gravity G1 gimbal. It's a completely new gimbal, just came out a few weeks ago, and I'm going to tell you why you should seriously consider it. This is not a sponsored ad or review. I haven't been paid by Tilta. I actually purchased this G1 on my own. Had been following them since the trade show NAB earlier this year, and was really interested in this. Purchased it just a few weeks ago. Actually used it on a few client projects in the last few weeks, and I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should really look at this. Reason number 1, which is I think phenomenal about this product, it's completely modular. So this means that I can take everything apart. It comes in a really big case, but I can just throw it back in my suitcase in little portions. I actually put some of it in my carry-on bag, some of it in my checked-in suitcases. But you have your gimbal interface on its own. You have the base plate. This is really cool because most of the other gimbals don't come with a base plate. When you're trying to balance it, it makes it tougher when you don't have that. You have the handle, and you have all the other accessories that you can get for it. I have a side handle, which has a rosette attachment. All right, so this modular design is really simple to use. You have the handle, the batteries go in the bottom of these, and you can buy, it takes 4 of them, you buy them on Amazon. They're less than $10, I believe, for 4 batteries. They're that cheap. You screw it into the base, the gimbal head right on top, and lock it in. This gets me into the next part, reason number 2 why I like this a lot more than what Young has, and it's the fact that this is really modular. So that means you get these rosette accessories that you can dial in, and I'm actually going to do that right here, and I'm going to attach this side handle. So this side handle is really beneficial, especially when you're shooting with a heavier body camera. For example, I shoot a lot of times with a 1DX Mark II that's about 3.5 pounds just body alone. And it's awkward holding these smaller gimbals with just 2 hands like this. When you have the ability to add a side accessory, like a side handle, you have sort of a wider grip, and it is way more stable. You can actually add accessories on the side that are 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch attachments. That way you can add all of your audio. You could have battery packs. I mean, whatever you need, you can actually add them on the side. Tilta even sells a follow focus system if you want to shoot with manual lenses and you're just a single person shooter. It's tough to hold a gimbal like this, especially these tinier gimbals. It's just tiring, and you don't really get good balance, and if you're running around, literally running, it makes it really tough. So with this side handle, you just get way more balance on the gimbal. It's easier to maneuver it. It actually negates the necessity to use a larger gimbal like the Ronin, because this has a 3 kilogram capacity. That's right. It actually can hold cameras up to around 6 to 7 pounds. Just because it can handle around 7 or 8 pounds doesn't mean that I necessarily try to load it out completely. I always try to do around 70% of max weight capacity when I'm working with a gimbal. So I'm going to remove some of these accessories off of the red so I can mount it for you. Put the bottom plate on, which I've just done, and I've cleaned up this camera. We're using a light 28mm lens on it. You could probably go a little bit heavier. This lens itself is around 300 to 400 grams. You could probably go up to an 800 or 900 gram lens on the Raven. But either way, we've removed the side handle, we've put on the sidekick, and we've left on the 4.7 inch monitor. This whole setup, 5.745 pounds. So the max weight on this, from what Tilta says, is around 7 to 8 pounds. This is a little under 6. It's right where I would want to keep it, about 20–25% under max weight. You also are able to use a remote battery, which I'm going to show you in a second, with a clip, and you can use a right angle. In this case, it doesn't obstruct anything, so it works perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and mount this lightweight setup of a Raven, and it'll just slide on. This is a standard Arca Swiss plate, so you can actually use multiple different mounting options if you have them already. And it's balanced the same way as any other gimbal. You sort of just tighten and loosen the screws as you move it fore and aft, left and right, etc. And I'm going to turn it on. It takes about 5 seconds to power up, and there we go. Ta-da. Whenever you change cameras on this, Tilta does recommend that you use the app, and I have it loaded up on my iPhone. And what the app does is it actually calibrates the gimbal to the weight of the camera that you're using. So in this case, the motors have stiffened up a little bit because I put almost a 6-pound camera on there. If I were to have maybe like a A6500 from Sony, then I would recalibrate again. It would know that it was a much lighter camera that was sitting on this gimbal. The app also includes some options for acceleration, dead zones, pan and tilt, and also firmware updates. So it's a pretty robust app, and it works really well. It's very simple. I haven't had it crash. It's not buggy. Almost 6 pounds, powered up, and working. You can actually tap it twice in front with a button, and then you get these sort of pan modes. And then of course you can click it 3 times and it locks on. Let's bring it out in the real world and show you how it works. All right, so you've seen the real world. You know that it works pretty well, just like any other gimbal that's similar to this type of style. And I also want to mention that it also works with the Scarlett, with the Epic bodies, because those are right around the same weight as the Red Raven. And of course it works with that 1DX, which I use a lot. And of course you can go all the way down to a smaller body. So it's kind of a gimbal that you can buy and you can sort of move up as you change. I mean, it punches way above its weight class. I'm going to post a code that Tilta's going to be giving me. They'll be giving some extras if you purchase using this code. So let me rehash those 3 reasons why I really love this Tilta product. Number 1 is it's modular, so you can break it apart. You can put it in multiple different bags as you're traveling. When it comes back together, it's super simple. Takes no more than maybe 30 seconds. Number 2 is you got these rosette attachment points. You can put a lot of cool accessories on them. You know, I have a secondary grip on here. It actually has a start-stop button as well. And number 3 is when you do eventually want to get rid of it and sell it and maybe move up or down, maybe to come out with something new, you're going to get a lot more return on your investment. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, post them below. Remember to subscribe, remember to like. We're going to have a lot more reviews coming up in the next few weeks. And thank you for watching.